Hey guys, this is going to be something unusual. It's going to be a live snippet replay of Priority Assault. I went down to the Gamestore, tried to hook up some players, put some notifications out there on Facebook. Didn't expect anybody to show up. Nobody showed up, so it's like, you know, I'm still going to play the game anyway because I've been wanting to play it for a while. So, and in case anybody showed up later, they can see what's going on, ask their questions, and then possibly get them interested in a game. So what we're going to do here is simply just go over the game that I played and talk about what I did and try to how I did, and so see how the flow of the game is. Pretty much like a little snippet AAR. So let's get the ball rolling on this thing here, and we'll drop a couple things here. So priority target is the scenario. We've got 6 turns, and what I want to show here is obviously a scenario card. It's S13. It's really, you really don't see the full card. So you know what? So here we go. We are at the full screen here of the display. Priority target. I didn't bother with the balance. I didn't actually see the any balance in this one. I guess you could add 1-4-3-7 to the Greek OB. Ooh, replacing with a -2 leader. That's pretty brutal. I think I got all the leaders here. I had to punch the counters out, and so I felt that took a long time for me to do. The OB, I looked at it, it's like, man, I've got a lot of British units and Greek units, but when it turns out, or actually technically Australian, thank you guys, Anzacs. 2 squads, 3 half squads, 2 green units, and 2 green half squads. So I decided to do this one a little differently. A lot of guys have been playing this scenario. It's a lot of interesting, intriguing setups, and I just wanted to throw a twist on it to see how my setups and my thoughts could kind of work it out. So what you see here is simply it's not a duplicate board. It is a duplicate board. It's the actual board here on the bottom part. The actual board down here, and then you're going to have the larger board that I use. So what you see here is my regular board, and then which is down on the bottom here, and then my new board that I created up top. So I expanded the map size. It took like forever, and I'm just playing on different bigger boards. You're playing face to face, well, face to board, face to table, I guess. So I just used my regular boards, hopefully in case someone walking by, it wasn't very busy that day anyway, that someone would say, hey, look, that's a cool looking giant board, you know, on their little magic tables, and you know, maybe get some interest in that. So not a big deal. So it was pretty interesting as it is. So I think I just pressed there. So here's my setup for, here's my setup, the actual game setup. I've got my iPad in front of me, my Neil Euland's charts, which are much easier to read than like any other chart. Very, very cool charts. Allows you to memorize them so much faster. Absolutely fantastic charts. Green bar is the 7. Yellow bar is your snake eyes, and there's another yellow bar on the bottom. You can barely see it by the British leader, and that's the yellow bar, which is the 12. That, you know, a 12 is usually crap anyway. My little mini dice tower on the side with the MMP dice right here, and then this is my board here. I stuck it together. This was the centerpiece, and that's just like the overlay. So I glued that like cement, rubber cement right there, and so that's the idea there. So my setup for the Brits or the Australians: one guy over here, one guy here, one guy here, and one guy here. That's a lot of my forces, to be honest with you. But what do you think the purpose of those particular units is for? The rest of my units are in the center. I got a leader just doing nothing right here. I got a leader doing nothing here, leader doing nothing here. You know, these guys are going to look for opportunities. I don't really see a lot of rallying occurring in this particular scenario. When the situation presents itself, I will try to get guys to there to rally. Not really concerned about it. The reason why the 8-0 here isn't down in this area is because these guys are just going to fight and die, and that's all there is to it with those guys. There's not much there's not much point in putting a leader on top of those guys who are gonna die. I'd rather have the leader available to help him rally and or move because he's green. So using his ability to move that unit around if necessary in case the Germans were not going to come on that way, that's fine. Say, Stu, why the hell is this guy way over here? Well, he really doesn't, I'm not really using him to cover the map. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 hex range to there. 1, 2, 3, 4 hex range to here. So he's got a 2-2 on this quarter of the board. Most likely not going to come on that way. Sure, they can go through the buildings, come this way, but what's the point? I mean, I guess you could do that. You can get good cover through the grain field. But then the Australian Anzacs or Greeks, they just shift, nothing happens. You do kind of discount this AA gun if you attack this direction. You're only attacking one AA gun at a time. I hadn't thought about that, to be honest with you. So coming this way and butchering this guy first, that could have been a viable offensive option for the Germans. I think I just did the standard attack down the hex row. And then I wanted to do a close assault here just to get down and dirty with it. Just to get in there, throw demo charges around. If I started from this side, my demo charges probably wouldn't come into play at all. And so at the beginning of the game, I could theoretically have a guy here and drop demos. Have a guy here, drop a demo. You know, demo on these suckers. And right in the beginning of the game, if I get some demos off, both their stacks, those are both 6 firepower stacks, both we've destroyed, gone. He literally has 2 squads and 3 guns to defend against my onslaught. And reading the scenario special rules, the scenario setups, you may come on turn 1 or later. So I left like 3 squads off, maybe a leader as well, I'm not sure. Probably just 3 squads and a demo off. Because I want to see where they want. I didn't want to bring all my demos on one area and then get pinned down because he rolled a couple 3s, or I rolled a couple 3s. And so I want to avoid that. So it's like, you know, if both my demos get captured, destroyed, then I gotta bring the demo on some other direction. It's not a big loss. You're 1 hex away from blowing things up anyway. It's not like it has to be anywhere somewhere soon, but whatever. I say, Stu, what's this guy doing way over here? For the most part, all the guys on the outside, all the attacks have to come in here, right? Most likely those are where the attack's going to come from. So these guys on the outside are not necessary to engage anybody, especially the guys on the flanks. You know, flank guy over here and flank guy over there. These guys are to screw up route paths for the enemy player. I decided, it's like, you know, this would be a good time to test it out to see how effective it could actually work. You're not giving up a lot of firepower, and the Greek units are green, and so when you break, you're not going to rally anyway. Even if you're going to self-rally with no DM, that's like a 5 for a green half squad. So if you had the green half squads in the middle here, once they break and there's Germans all around you, it doesn't matter. Here, at least, they won't fail you to route. They're stuck out on the outside, and as long as they stay within 5 hindrances of any German units, those German units may not route back. They cannot route backwards if this unit comes up to this position, and then he sees guys this way and guys this way. Where are they going to route? The only place they can route to is this way. Well, guess what? We got that guy right there. So he either has to deal with those units or somehow just kick major butt and then get around them. So that's the concept of those outlying half squads. They're not stopping anybody. You're not stopping the Germans. If they want to go through an area, they're going through an area. And I decided to say, I'm going to see what I can do right at the beginning and then go from there. Here's a little bit closer detailed look at my setup right off the board. I've got 6 firepower right here on the left hand side. I'm gonna use a different color. It's a darker. I've got 6 firepower in this stack. Not bright enough, sorry. In this stack, in this stack, and in this stack. So those are all 12 shot. This is a 12 shot, 12, 12, 12 from one unit. It's going to leave 6 residual. He's going to follow up if somebody else moves on the board with a 6 attack. This unit can then fire an 8 attack. This guy can then fire 12 attack. Leaves 6 residual. You know? And so we're leaving our residual in all these places here. So in case he wanted to drop a demo, he'll be attacked immediately with another 6 firepower attack. Regardless of what location he's in, he's going to be attacked by at least 4 to 6 firepower. Am I worried about cowering? I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit about cowering. Say, Stu, what's this 40 millimeter looking that way for, the covered arc like that? Well, as you notice in the other slide, it's kind of open ground. They can get lots of mobility. I want to make sure I can cover that to make sure nothing's going to happen. If he's going to come here on this location here, then I simply swivel 2 hexes. You know, I'll do like Dave Cheever suggests, fire to hit. I can get my rate of fire of 3. That's going to be a +4 total for 2 hex side swivel to have the covered arc face this way, and then +1 for terrain. If he, I'm going to assume he's going to assault move, and therefore it'll be, I'll need like a 5 to hit. Not a problem. If I roll a 3, I get to fire again with acquisition on him and just go directly to IFE, and that's going to be a +1. That's the general concept why I decided to look that way. The AA gun on top, middle, look, guess what? Boom. Fires right there. Anti-German moving through here, full movement speed. He's going to be non-assault moving, so therefore that terrain effect modifier doesn't matter. And I'm only looking at 1 hindrance. That's an 8+1 shot. Not bad. Not bad at all with a 2 rate of fire. Also, half squad here is going to fire. Actually, the half squad is going to be used to fire here and here on the flanks. He's going to be used to fire on the flanks, not necessarily right in the middle. Simply because if they want to avoid the AA gun, if they want to come down here, then he can fire to 2-2 or 4-2 as the case may be. He's going to final protect the fire if the Germans decide to try and swarm him. It doesn't matter. He's going to break anyway. And the gun on the right-hand side, same sort of thing. He's firing this direction. A lot of this is open ground on the right-hand side right above me, down to the bottom. The LMG and 4.57 could also fire that general direction. So we've got 8 and a 6 firepower shooting there. Higgins back here, just kicking back, 7-0 kicking back. Broken units can route directly to those units. They only route back 1 hex, slows them down a little bit. I'm not going to be able to route that much further anyway, simply because if the Germans come on, they could actually cut route paths. Always a big problem in this scenario. So here's my Germans on set. I've got 2 5.48s on the left-hand side. They're simply going to try and move here. Oops, hold on. I'm moving the central location here. We got 2 half squads with demos. Move up or move over and then drop a demo maybe. 5.48 with light machine guns going to be 8 firepower even in the advanced fire phase. So we've got some good firepower. I don't want to really overcommit, but we'll see what the results the Allies can have. This is just a result at the end of German turn 1. Well, we'll go left to right. Germans came on here and got smacked with the AA gun. So they got smacked this way and broke a unit. He routed back. The next unit, the 227, pinned him, and then these guys just came up on the flank. So the Germans actually took a couple hits simply from the 227 and the AA gun. The AA gun here, of course, swiveled. And who do we fire at? Those 2 4.58s right there. My 4.58s entered there simply because I knew he had to swivel, and so therefore give me +1, +3 terrain. But he rolled low enough, or at least got ready to fire, and he continued to destroy me. 1 5.48 advances there. I tried to throw a demo charge onto here, pinned him, and then the 8.38, the 5.48, and the 8-1 came this way, and he engaged in close combat. 5-4. Or actually 5-6. So, you know, 1-to-1, essentially 1-to-1 both sides, because I'm just there to tie them up. I want my other units to come on and then just finish them off. Because I've got 8 morale and he'll have 7 morale, I'll take point blank shots into that melee. These units, the 9-1 cannot break in this situation. Right above my head. Of course, I'm always blocking that crap. He cannot break there. That's why I brought those units on to jump in melee. They have to be pinned those down, because if they break, they're eliminated. Period. So I have to throw them in close combat. Guys up top, you see above me, they're coming over here. They're going to deal with this guy real quick, break him or kill him, and then we're going to move into this general direction this way. We might have to deal with the 247 up here. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on what he wants to do. But that's the plan for that guy. So I had to divert a squad and a half and a leader to the top side to deal with those units. So let's go. This is the same sort of thing. The end of the prep fire phase, I believe. So he prepped in up top, nothing happened. Prepped down the bottom, broke the other 548 right next to me. Of course, here, let me. Broke the other guy right next to me. I had to final fire on this unit moving up. No effect, because if I could surround these guys and break him, I can completely eliminate the Germans coming on board. And the Germans right now are essentially getting their asses kicked. For all intents and purposes. There are no Allied casualties as we speak of yet. And it's looking bad for the Germans right now. So we end up... these guys are dead. And on the bottom right... The Germans ended up being eliminated. I think the... Oh yeah, that's what happened. Smith moved down here. And then there was another Allied unit that was right here. I think a 437. So Smith came up and around to come down to force those units to rout. They know where to rout. Gone. So 770 Smith decides to go out there, and if he breaks, I don't even think anybody can fire on him. Then they just die. So I killed 2 units there. We got Schnauzer, whatever the hell his name is, right here. This unit moved up, maybe took a shot, and then moved back. So that's the whole point there. I think I tried to DM a unit there. Yeah, that's what it was. I DM'd a unit here. There was a unit that was broken here. I DM'd him, so he routed this direction and like died or something like that. Yeah, just something like that. I think that was the case. So moving on to the next. Just a wider picture. Again, these are my forces that I kept off board. Pretty much for that reason, now I could just reinforce. I could have reinforced up here at the top. I could have penetrated up top over here, or on the side over here, coming that way. But I've got nobody left in the center, so I brought those essentially turn 2 reinforcements on right then and there. And one of the 238s, let's go to the left-hand side. They're still having trouble on the left-hand side. Coming up here, 227 and the AA gun here is essentially keeping that entire force at bay. 3 squads, 4 squads. A demo actually sent a demo on that side too. So these guys are having a hard time, and that's all there is to it. Germans are floundering here. I have to crack his defense, and so I decided to throw a demo charge right on top of the 457 right here, DC. And happened to roll like a 3 on the resolution, so that's straight up 2K. I ate him. So I didn't destroy his weapon, but his weapon would remain behind. Schmack, Lieutenant Schmack, the 548 came on, dropped smoke to give him cover. Then the demo charge moved over within the smoke and dropped the demo charge on in the melee, still raging. And the allies are just defending back here. Smith's going to take an opportunity to try and come down and grab a weapon. I'm gonna try to grab a demo charge or something like that. We'll see what happens with that. Same angle, my 238 advances. He's going to grab the LMG. That's about it. And then this is just advancing even more. We've got the units on the bottom, which were on the right-hand side. They're now coming this way. I think I dispatched that half squad within close combat, got lucky. My Germans up here dispatched the 228 up that side and are advancing down there. Notice that the AA gun has a shot here, and this AA gun clears here. So the Germans have a very narrow approach that they can get there. Anybody that breaks, pretty much the only hex that he can stay in is this hex right here, and we'll get to that in just a second. And Germans are making some leeway down here. We've got an LMG captured right here. We do have the 7-0 at this location trying to grab the... He actually grabbed both items, so he's going to try and grab them and get the hell out of Dodge. 548's ready to move, 548 LMG, and 548 here in the smoke. So we've got some good units, strong units. Hopefully we can withstand their counterattack. Here, we just simply break the 7-0. Not exactly sure. I think it was just an advanced fire phase, 2+1. Got lucky. 9-1 breaks here with a final fire shot. You know, that's what happens with my guys, and that's about it. Couple breaks, and both just leaders break that particular turn. So nothing special. The 9-1, I don't even know if the 9-1 had an effect during the rest of the game. 9-1's broken in the middle. I think we jumped 5-4-8 from one side. I think from one side or the other into melee. We still have our defense right here. Still got our defense up here. Nothing's really happened on the other side. So pretty simple. Pretty simple. One AA gun at a time. This might be turn 3. Turn 3 or 4. Probably turn 3 or 4. So the melee is going to look good. And at the end of that turn, oh yeah, the end of the ally player turn, probably turn 3 or 4. Of course you see, a gun malfunction. Not fun. That hurts a lot. Considering we're going to lose one here, and we'll only have one gun remaining. I do like my defense in the middle. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm looking at 8 firepower, 4 firepower, and then 12 and 6. So I can do a lot of different things. Higgins is simply a block, so the Germans just can't run through and jump this guy in close combat. That's all he's there for, is simply to block. And on the right-hand side, here's our 247 that was in these buildings over here that made his way this way. He's here this way so he doesn't get shot at, a lucky shot. He can see this unit. This might be a +6 right here. So with a +6 modifier, we won't be able to see him. So eventually this guy will simply just advance up, maybe move there, maybe move here, just to get some angles over here to keep an eye on those guys. So they can't route back this way. They can't route down through the line. In case something happened to crack, then I can go and eliminate all those German units and just simply win the game that way. So that's what he's doing. The 247's got decent range. Him being here, maybe a 227 green Greek squad would have been better, and the 247 maybe on the other side. But that's where I put him. You gotta live with your mistakes. Melee. This is just the same photo pushing up, same sort of duplication. Here we go with the AA gun. I have the Germans only have here, and we've got some Germans on this side. We've got a demo charge in the middle. We've got 2 leaders here aren't doing anything. We've got a broken crew, so we're done there. We've got a captured German here. We've got Germans here. We are surrounded by Germans. This 40mm AA gun is surrounded by Germans. We got a target here, target here. This guy's out of LOS. We've got a target on the gun here, and 2 targets up in here. Loads of targets. So I think what this unit did is he swung his gun around this way, and we fired on the to hit on one of these units. I don't know why that DM's there, because if he prep fired, he prep fired. So we fired on one of those units. And the reason why we fired the hit is to maintain rate of fire and then follow it up with an 8 firepower chart. So what happened is I rolled a 3 to hit, and if you look at your to hit chart, and for the point blank, I think there's a point blank, a 3 to hit, critical hit, maintains rate of fire with a 2, and then my result on the IFT was a KIA. So free kill, fire again, try and break some more units. So that was based upon using the to hit versus the IFE. And then I think I'm not sure. This is probably the the pre-shot on that one there. Yeah, this is the pre-shot because these are out of order. Because he's facing this way, I swapped him this way to have my covered arc down this way, and shot and killed somebody over there. And so I think I killed that unit, and then I swung back on this side, trying to fire some other units. Didn't kind of work out, but the concept was there. I did shoot there, get ready to fire, turn back around, and shot that way. So I swiveled that gun like crazy. It's looking pretty grim right now. We've got Germans on the front, solidified in. I've got 2 units here. I think I left this unit here because I'm not too worried about 4 firepower, and I wanted to try and get a point-blank shot on him, and point-blank shots on these guys right here. So 2 squads and an AA gun. I think this is at least turn 5. This is turn 5, I believe. So it doesn't look as bad as you think. The Germans have to make sure his units don't break and continue to move forward effectively. So we end up breaking the unit in the middle, some sort of prep fire. I'm not sure where this is. And the unit in the top, the half squad in the top, is starting to come down just to reinforce, try and help out as best he can, cut route pass, whatever. And he ended up getting pinned, not a real big deal. The other unit as well in the upper left-hand corners coming in to try and provide some cover. Maybe brought him in maybe a turn late because they'd be up like another hex or two or three hexes. Could have made a real difference. So if you're going to put your units on the edge like that, make sure you probably want to move them earlier than later. So this is the last turn, I believe, of the Germans' assault. All the German units in this frontal area up here, all were DM'd. I blasted the living crap out of them. I moved the 437 up there just to DM them all, and then final fired on them adjacently or something like that. Maybe that was last turn. I don't know. Anyway, those guys all broke. They may have moved forward and broke and routed 1 hex back. Germans dropped smoke, getting a little closer. We destroyed the AA gun here, just in case the Allies, because he's coming behind us, might get a chance to recoup it. So we're just getting rid of it. And then we have the units, the troops down here. We only have 3.5 squads. 3.5 squads for 1 gun, which is about the average, ratio of guns to German units. So the ratio of what they have to face is actually pretty nominal. And then here's the end of the German movement phase. Germans move much more closer. They're assaulting the gun. 437 was hoping to get a point-blank shot and just blow somebody away. Nothing happened. I think I rolled like a 12 or something like that. And the AA gun got no result on that. So you know what's going to happen is that the Germans are going to jump them in close combat. And pretty much this is the end game. The 437 broke, and the Germans kind of overwhelmed at the end. It really went both ways. The Germans came on, got demolished, threw some demo charges, jumped in close combat, killed a couple units, made their way methodically. The guys down the tree line up top, they were pretty much a non-factor the whole game, and they were nothing. So I only had like 5 squads essentially take out the 3 guns. The malfunction really sucked of the middle gun. I don't think he actually did any. Well, he did affect the units up in the top row. So if he was still around, I think it would have been an easy Allied victory, simply with just by average dice rolls. But that's it. I think I had a great time. Nobody showed up. But I'm playing with my larger hexes. So you can put 2 squads in a hex side by side, just like the melee counter in the middle that you see. I just want to play with my new boards, push some counters around. Yes, they're not clipped. I punched them out immediately right then and there. It took me like an hour to punch them out because I got to sort everything. But anyway, got them punched out. They are clipped now. So next one you'll see, probably next weekend, they're going to be clipped. So Priority Target, if you haven't played it, definitely play it. And make sure your setup is accurate for the Allies. And make sure you get all your troops for both sides, because you'll need every single unit to be effective in what you're trying to do. All right? Well, thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this a little bit. I mean, you can see some free counters, you know, whatever, and instead of just the Velvet Vassal board. But I try to remember the story as it kind of developed. It's a pretty short, small game, so it's not really that hard. I just took loads of pictures and went from there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give me some feedback. Is this any good? You care to watch the games that I'm going to be playing on Saturdays live? Let me know, and we could throw a couple little mini AARs like that just to change it up. You know, you guys don't need to see the same old crap all the time. Just to change up the flow of what's going on. All right. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll catch you next time on Vaseline with Stu.